Hey, Jessica, is this thing?
Woo!
We begin everyone with the same words. Are we live?
Yes, are we live? Hey, everybody, welcome to our Wet Nose Wednesday. Again, we do it at 9:45 every Wednesday when we introduce you to animals in the area that need forever homes.
Yes. And Jessica, this is very special to you because this is your last Wet Nose Wednesday before you leave town.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that.
So make it extra enjoyable. Let's welcome our guest right in. We've got Alison this morning.
Yeah, we're going to feature the Stafford County SPCA. Alison Kleekamp is the intake and adoption coordinator for the Stafford County SPCA. Alison, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Oh, we're so good. Now, a couple weeks ago, remember you saying, hey, you know what? We've got dogs that we're going to get from Puerto Rico to bring in that are going to need forever homes. So today you're going to introduce us to those dogs that need homes that came from Puerto Rico. But before we get started, we really want you to tell us a little bit about the Stafford County SPCA. You're a no-kill animal shelter. So the floor is all yours. Welcome.
Hey.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So yeah, as you said, Stafford SPCA is a not-for-profit 501c3 shelter, and we are no-kill. So when animals come to our shelter, they are here until we can find them forever homes. Our shelters are unique, or our shelter is unique in the sense that none of our animals are in cages. Each animal lives in a room because our shelter used to be a facility for the elderly. So it's a very unique situation in that we have only community cat rooms and that each dog gets their own room. So, yep, the pictures right in front of us are the Puerto Rican dogs, and each of them has a story that I'm excited to tell you guys about.
Sweet.
It's like they're living in their own apartments. It's just an amazing facility.
Yeah, so each room is kind of set up to look like a living room would be in a home. So just kind of getting them acclimated to that type of environment. We do crate training. We do regular training. We take them out on walks because our shelter sits on 10 acres that are wooded. So we can take them on trail walks and do all that good stuff. We have staffing here that's here from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. So again, we're able to kind of simulate what it's like in a home environment. So they're potty trained and all that good stuff. And they're good to go when they get adopted.
I want to put out there that as we start seeing some of the animals, if you're interested in adopting an animal, because of COVID and whatnot, it's appointment only. I just wanted to get that out there. Correct, Alison?
Correct. So we are by appointment only. And the first step in our adoption process is you're going to have to go to our webpage, which is staffordspca.org. And from there, we have pictures and bios of all of our available cats and dogs. And if you see someone that you are interested in, you can go ahead and fill out an application. And from there, our adoption team will be in contact with a phone interview followed by a meet and greet, which is when you actually come to the shelter and get to physically see the animal, see if you mesh, all that good stuff. And then the last step is our home inspection, where we go out to your home and see if it would be adequate and just has everything that that dog needs or cat needs to be happy and healthy. And if all of that is good to go, then we go ahead with the adoption.
Excellent.
And I know this morning you're going to feature 3 dogs that you just recently got into the Stafford County SPCA. You said they're Spanish dogs. You gave us a fun story about the dogs that you're going to feature.
Yes. So we have never had dogs from Puerto Rico before, and Chrissy from Old Dominion Humane Society reached out to me and asked if we would potentially be interested in helping her because she was going to Puerto Rico and pulling about 40 dogs, mostly stray dogs, beach dogs, things of that sort. And I said, of course, I would love to help. So she brought them in. They came back to Virginia, I believe, last Wednesday. So last Friday, me and Bill, the executive director, we went down to Old Dominion in Fredericksburg and picked them up and brought them here. And so they've been getting lots of love and attention, and we are hoping that we can find homes for them.
Wow.
But again, this is our first time pulling dogs from Puerto Rico. So it's a first for Stafford SPCA, and we're really excited about it.
Can you tell when you bring in a dog from Puerto Rico or just any dog that hasn't
Mhm.
had a good home? Is there such a difference in the behavior and what you have to nourish to bring that dog back to a point where he can actually be adopted into a loving family?
Yeah, that's a great question. You certainly see that a lot in hoarding cases, where the animals are getting minimal to no care. They didn't really get that socialization that they needed as puppies. They didn't get that veterinary care that they needed. That's certainly something we see a lot. For these guys, even though they came from, you know, they had sort of sad beginnings, there were a lot of people around them that helped take care of them. So these guys are actually very well behaved, despite the fact that they were stray dogs. There were people that found them, took them in, took care of them, and El Nino, which is the guy I'm about to show you, he's one of the most well-behaved dogs we've ever seen, which is weird because
Wow.
he used to
Wow.
be a stray. Yeah,
Let's-
so I'm excited to show him to you guys and tell you his story.
Let's see.
meet El Nino.
All right. So give me 1 second. All right. So this is El Nino. And what his story is he was actually found on the side of a highway in Puerto Rico. He was lying down on the road because he had been hit by a car,
Oh, wow.
unfortunately. And so both of his hips were fractured, so he wasn't able to move. So thankfully, some really nice people took him in, and then the organization called National Foster Alliance took him in, and they did surgery on one of his hips. And then the other hip, just due to time, healed on its own. But because of that, he does walk with a slight limp. But he was put into a foster home by National Foster Alliance, and then Old Dominion got him, and now we have him. And he is just what I call a bomb-proof dog. Like, you can literally throw anything at him, and he's good. Like, he's good with dogs. He's good with cats. He loves cats. So he would be great to go to a home that has cats. He's also good with kids, everyone he meets. So really just a remarkable dog, considering, what he's been through.
He looks
he's
very
about
calm and peaceful.
Yeah, he's very chill. We put him out in the yard with our other Puerto Rican dogs, and they love to run around and play. And we have a little doggy pool out there. He just likes to plop right down in the pool and cool off. But overall, a great dog, and we're really excited to see where he ends up.
Oh, that's awesome. I see that Becky is chiming in on our program this morning too on Wet Nose Wednesday. And Alison, she's asking, do you have small dogs? She's moving into an apartment real recent and was looking for a small dog. What kind of small dogs are you having up for adoption?
Yeah, that's a great question. So currently the only small dog, and I guess small is sort of a relative term, but I guess anything that's like 30 pounds or under, the only ones that we have currently are the other two Puerto Rican dogs, Chiquita and El Jefe, and they are a bonded pair. So that means we're not going to separate them. They're going to be adopted out together. So as of right now, let's see. Jefe is around 30 pounds and Chiquita's around 20, and that's the smallest dogs we have.
And let me ask you a question though, regards to that before we meet them. In your personal opinion, what is the size of dog, or what size of dog is too big for an apartment? Does that matter? I mean, I know that's everybody's preference and opinion.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think a lot of it comes down to the lifestyle of the owner. And so certainly we do adopt out in special circumstances to people who live in apartments. Usually if it's a smaller breed dog, we do make exceptions. But for the most part, for our larger breed dogs, like El Nino here, we're really looking for a home, and they don't have to own the home, they can rent it, but a place with a backyard where they can really just run and play. That's especially important if you have a dog that has issues with other dogs or people, just sort of their own area, where they're able to just relax and get the exercise that they need. So in the most cases, we are looking for homes with fenced yards. We do make exceptions for those smaller breed dogs in apartments on occasion.
And also, I would add to that, make sure you check with the apartment community, because oftentimes they're breed restricted or they have size restrictions on pets that you can have if you're doing a lease.
Yep, that's very true.
Who do we get next? Do we get Chiquita or?
We're gonna go. Brennan's gonna go bring out Chiquita and El Jefe. So it'll take him a minute or two to go. For him to go get them, but I can tell you their story.
Yeah.
It's a great story. So Chiquita, which is the smaller dog, she is a Jack Russell Wiener dog mix, we think. She was living in an old abandoned building surrounded by trash and rubble, just kind of, doing what a lot of those dogs do, just surviving. And these two older ladies started bringing her food and water every day. And that was great. And so she was surviving that way. And then one day she went off somewhere and found El Jefe and brought him back to her feeding spot. And then they just sort of stayed there together for 5 years while these ladies came and brought them food and water every day. And they got very attached to them, which when you'll see in a second is very easy to see why. And they just sort of hung out in that area, waiting for food and water from those ladies every day. So, I mean, I think, we help out the animals a lot, but there's also people like that out in the community that are doing stuff like that every day that is making a big difference. Because they were out there feeding and watering those dogs, they were still alive, and then we were able to bring them out here to Virginia and hopefully find a forever home. And they were really just right at home when they came here on our couches and stuff. But here they are, slowly coming in. Let's see here. So
the white one barking and making all the noise. I thought it was them. It's not even them.
No, this is El Jefe. So that means boss in Spanish. And then this little one over here is Chiquita.
Yep. What a baby.
So she's the one who found El Jefe and brought him back to her feeding spot. And they really do everything together. When we get our dogs into our shelter, we give them baths, and it was really cute because El Jefe was standing next to the bathtub while we were giving her a bath, just looking at her, making sure she was okay. So yeah, they're really a great pair. They're bonded, which means if we were to separate them, that would, cause a severe decrease in their welfare. So we're going to keep them together. And we're looking for a home that can take both of them. Chiquita is Chiquita is a Jack Russell mix, and I'm not entirely certain what Jefe is. Maybe a terrier mix. I'm not certain. And they're both about 5 years old.
Oh, look at that.
And Alison, for somebody that's interested this morning in adopting, what is that timeline as far as if they contacted you today? What is the timeline of when they would actually be able to take their forever pet home?
That's a great question. The typical rate for taking a dog home is about a week, because there are a lot of steps in our adoption process where we are thorough and just making sure that it's going to be a good home. The first step is going to be filling out that application online. And then from there, we proceed with the phone interview, the meet and greet, and then the home inspection. So depending on how quickly people respond to emails and stuff like that, it can take 3 or 4 days to a week.
Wow.
And that's all good. That process is great because it makes sure that the right pet's getting into the right home and it's success all around. So I think that's great.
Yeah, and you can see on the screen, scrolling on the screen, StaffordSPCA.org, the address, the telephone number, all that great information. You can get in touch with Alison. And we want to say thank you to everybody that watches our Wet Nose Wednesday at 9:45 every Wednesday. But Allison, I love meeting your Puerto Rico dogs.
Yeah, no, thank you for, letting us talk to you guys. And we're excited to see where these guys end up. And we can't wait for next time.
That is great. And they're not camera shy either. You can see they're working the camera. I love it.
Exactly. Yeah, you can see that they're used to being around humans. So like I said, it's weird and awesome how well adjusted they are. So we think they're just going to do great here.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
And great in someone else's home.
Yes, of course.
Allison, thank you so much. Alison Camp from the Stafford County SPCA. We enjoy you so much, and thanks for joining us on another Wet Nose Wednesday.
Thanks, Allison.
No problem. Thanks for having me, guys.